Hello everyone, it's me, Aaron, Professor Thorgy, your guide to all things geeky, and welcome to another episode of Game Room, the show every single week on this channel where we just geek out about video games. And it's been a little while since we talked about a news story, but this week something happened that was so big and brought me so much joy that I just had to make an episode about. You see, if you followed this channel for a while, then you know that I wasn't the biggest fan of Street Fighter V. I believe I refer to it as a rain cloud of disappointment that never stops. In fact, just to point out to you guys how upset I got at that game, I have another channel, a Let's Play channel, and I haven't done much with it in about 6 months because I've been focusing on this channel so much, but I decided, you know what, it's time that I get it back up and running. And the first game that I want to put back on that channel is Street Fighter V. So at midnight, when it came out, I set up all the recording equipment, sat down, and I decided before I start recording it, I'm just gonna get a little practice in, just get some experience with all these new controls and how these characters work. I wish I had recorded that. It's one of my greatest disappointments with myself that I did not record that, because within 10 minutes of playing that game, I went from, alright, this is gonna be awesome, to what the hell is this crap? In 10 minutes, I went through every possible emotion you can imagine. I went through all the stages of loss. I went through denial, anger, depression, back to anger, bargaining, more anger. Eventually I'll get to acceptance. But I'm bringing all this up because this week, the CEO and chairman of Capcom came out and apologized. Not like, oh yeah, I guess we could, Barrett. Like, no, flat out apologized. Yes, Capcom CEO and chairman Kenzo Sugimoto came out and said, quote, some aspects of Street Fighter V needed more polish, such as the lack of content and server issues at launch. Accordingly, we feel it's better to give a little more time to development than before and have made slight adjustments to our portfolio. Now, I'll get into what that means in a little bit, but first, let's look at why he had to apologize. It's not just because Street Fighter V was getting historically bad word of mouth. No, it's also because that bad word of mouth translated into bad sales. This game only sold 1.4 million physical copies when their goal was 2 million. That's the equivalent of a C-. Yeah, you're not gonna put that one up on the fridge, especially when this is Street Fighter, a franchise that's been turning in A's and A+s for the longest time. You wanna know how bad it is? Pokken outsold Street Fighter V. The Pokemon fighting game outsold Street Fighter V, and you might be saying, oh, well, of course it outsold it. Pokemon has a huge die-hard fan base, and that's true. You know what else has a huge die-hard fan base? Street Fighter. You know what also came out a month before Pokken on a console that sold way more than the Wii U? Street Fighter. And I find this really interesting, not just for the reasons I just mentioned, but because when you stop and think about it, Pokemon and Street Fighter actually share a lot in common. They're both games that have been around for a long time with really big die-hard audiences, but also because they're both games that have long solo campaigns that are great for casual players, and then they also have really detailed battle systems that are great for competitive players who want to go to the national championships. However, Street Fighter V came in here and said, yeah, screw all those solo casual players, we're just going for the competitive players. What Street Fighter did to its franchise with Street Fighter V by taking out things like arcade mode, Jesus, a Street Fighter game without arcade mode, that is still a weird sentence for me to say. But what Street Fighter did to its franchise with Street Fighter V would be like if when Pokemon Sun and Moon comes out later this year, you go and pick it up and it's like, alright, here are your starters, and guess what, there's no gyms in this one. Yep, no gyms, no Elite Four, no evil team that you have to go up against. You can still go out there and just catch random things. Oh, by the way, you know how the previous games would have about 200 to 250 Pokemon in every single area? We've only got 40. So you can do that. And then, hey, I hope that you're willing to pay $10 a month so that you can battle people online. That's it. So yes, Pokken outsold Street Fighter, and it did not just because it had great gameplay that was good for going online to battle other people. It did it because if you didn't want to do that, there was still a game there for you. There was still a great solo campaign. There were still tons of assist Pokemon you could unlock. There were still tons of character customizations you could unlock. There was a fully complete game worth your money if you were a solo casual player. And people loved that. They praised it. They told everyone about it. However, with Street Fighter V, there wasn't that. So they warn people, stay away. If you want to play this for arcade mode, if you want to play this because you're a casual gamer, if you want to play this because you don't want to go online and compete against other people, there's nothing here for you, and you definitely can see that in the sales. In fact, I'd be fully willing to bet that out of that 1.4 million physical copies sold, at least 0.4 million of it belong to casual gamers who really want to return it if they could. But let's get into this apology itself. To me, this is huge because over the past couple of years, Capcom's been a little bit arrogant. It's gotten a little bit big for its britches, and I'll go into an explanation of what I mean by that in just a minute, but to me, Street Fighter V was the peak of that arrogance. Street Fighter V was them coming out and going, we're gonna give you what we have right now and you're gonna like it. We're not going to bother with half the audience out there and you're gonna like it. And I know some people are going to say, well, they had to get it out there on time, and they also had to aim it mostly at competitive players because they wanted it to be ready in time for EVO. Hey, you know what they would have done if it wasn't ready in time for EVO this year? They would have just played Street Fighter 4. Trust me, Street Fighter would have gotten some representation at EVO. But this has now humbled Capcom, and that's awesome. It is amazing when a company as big as Capcom can actually come out here and go, we screwed up. We did this, it's our fault. That is amazing to me because in America, typically when a company as big as Capcom screws up like this, they love to come out and blame someone else. A Chet Willoughby, if you will. They love to come out and point fingers at everyone but themselves, including at you, the audience. How dare you know what you want? Remember when Microsoft screwed up, well, everything with the Xbox One? Sure, they've gone back and fixed pretty much all of it at this point. However, you remember when they started to fix it? And they came out and they said, yeah, well, you know, we thought you guys would like it if we started spying on you with the Kinect, but if you can't understand why that's a good thing, well, I guess, you know, hey, that's on you. Or if you're a movie fan, remember when Warner Brothers came out and said that they were afraid that audiences wouldn't be smart enough for Batman vs. Superman? You guys. But this right here is different. They're not pointing fingers at anyone else. They're not blaming you for not realizing what they were trying to do. They came out and said, this was wrong and it's our fault. And yeah, I'm still upset about Street Fighter V, but honestly, I feel better about it now. Never underestimate the power of just coming out there and saying, our bad. And yeah, I'm excited about this. I'm very happy about this, and not just because it implies that from here on out Capcom is going to, I don't know, wait until the game is done to put it out, or make sure it has enough content to be worth $60. What a crazy idea! I know, who'd have thought? But no, the thing that has me so excited, and it has me really looking forward to the future of Capcom, is the next thing that they said. Quote, we also possess a vast library of content in which there remains multiple IPs that have not yet been utilized to their full potential. We will handle these issues moving forward. Yeah, hold on, let me break that down for you. This is what is so amazing. Capcom just said about themselves what angry video game fans have criticized them for years. It's that Capcom has so many of these amazing IPs, so many great franchises that have just been collecting dust. And not just collecting dust, but aggressively collecting dust. Almost like Capcom was determined to never let them out of the vault. Capcom was basically that rich kid who got all the great toys and then never let anyone play with him. And when you asked them if you could play with them, they just went, no. Oh, so do you plan on playing with them? No, I hate them. They're dumb. Oh, well, I kind of think they're awesome. So if you think they're dumb and you don't want them, then could I? No. Then in that case, are you going to get any new toys? No, I hate toys. What do you even do for fun? I yell offensive things at people walking past my window and then throw trash at them. You are a sad, sad little man. That was Capcom, and that's what I mean when I say Capcom has become arrogant. It's that Capcom used to be the king of video games. They had waves of new properties coming at you with one great game after another coming out. However, what have they done recently? They've had a couple of really small Japanese-only releases, some phone games, Monster Hunter, but let's be honest, that's only because Nintendo made them put it out. And after that, it's been nothing but one HD re-release after another. That's not the king of games, that's a senior slump. That's the guy who scored 4 touchdowns in a single game back in high school, and now to this day they still tell that story over and over again as though it were still relevant. It's not. Capcom, you're not that guy you were back in high school anymore. That varsity jacket of yours does not fit. It's time for you to finally make some new stuff. And that would be frustrating with any company out there, but it's extra frustrating with Capcom because, as I said, Capcom was the king of IPs. Street Fighter, Resident Evil, Devil May Cry, Beautiful Joe, Darkstalkers, Breath of Fire, Okami, Ghost and Goblins, Power Stone, Final Fight, Zack and Wiki, Strider, Bionic Commando, whoever the hell all these people are, and of course... Fighting Robot, Megaman! Dear God, Capcom! Megaman! I'm not even good at those games, I suck at them. But just speaking as someone who is a fan of watching other people succeed, I've hated Capcom for their treatment of Mega Man. He's one of the most iconic video game characters in the world. Not just him, but all of his incarnations. And yet Capcom has taken him and put him up on the shelf so hard they practically superglued him up there so no one else could grab him down. Why? Did he run over your dog? Did Mega Man steal your girl? It is mind-boggling to me why Capcom wants nothing to do with him. That's like Nintendo saying, yeah, we hate Mario now. The guy who created Mega Man set up a Kickstarter to fund a Mega Man ripoff game, and fans of that character were so excited they unanimously shouted, "Shut up and take my money," and they not only funded it, they continued to fund it. Hey, thanks for all the money that you've given this game so far. Can I get another 5,000 so that I can give it Swedish subtitles? Yes, oh dear God, I don't even speak that language, but here, just take whatever money you need to get this out. I just need it so bad. And Capcom, you saw this happen! You saw this wave of cash coming in! You saw people who were so desperate for anything Mega Man that they funded this game, funded a board game, flipped their lid over him being in a Nintendo game, and you still went, yeah, f that guy, he's staying up on the shelf. But now, after hearing this, that shelf is about to come down. The toy chest is about to open up. And that's great news for Mega Man fans, but it's even better news for all of us other Capcom fans who just love all these properties. We might finally get another Darkstalkers, another Power Stone, another Beautiful Joe, and considering the fact that Disney recently came out and said, yeah, we don't really know what the hell we're doing with our video game department, so we're gonna let other people start making our games for us. That means we could actually get Marvel vs. Capcom 4, which means I could finally get Miss Marvel and Squirrel Girl in that game. I will start a change.org petition to get them in that game if I have to. Or something else that might actually have an effect. So yes, in the end, I'm still mad at Street Fighter V for being such a disappointment. I'm mad that I spent so much money on it. But if this was the kick in the pants that Capcom needed to finally get out of its lazy boy, pick up the jump rope, and go into a Rocky-style training montage to get back into fighting shape, then hey man, it might have been worth it. But that's just me. Let me know in the comments down below how you felt about this apology. Also let me know what you think this might mean for their old properties. Do you think that this is going to be a Return of the King, or it's going to be another Resident Evil 6? Also, let me know what old Capcom properties do you want to see return? Which of their old games do you want to see them come back with a brand new installment? I was so excited about this news that I almost made another top 10 list this week of the top 10 old Capcom properties I want to see new games for. But if you've been watching this channel, you know this entire month has been pretty much nothing but top 10s, so I felt we need a little bit of a break from that. But, as I said, let me know what old properties you want to see come back. So, I thank you guys very much for watching this episode. Remember, if you want to see anything from the world of geekery, whether it be video games, comic books, or movies, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. We do fun, geeky videos every single week on this channel. In fact, we're actually doing a lot of them right now. I'm currently hitting like 3 a week, which is huge for me. And I thank you guys so much for all the support you've been giving me. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So, again, as I said, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, make sure that you share this all around the web. It's the best way to help out this channel. You guys have been doing that a lot lately, and it really shows. We've been growing so much lately, and it's all because of you guys. Thank you so much. Also follow me on Twitter and Tumblr, and make sure to come back next time. Bye!